Something I actually just like recently found out was you were Tennessee. I don't know how I forgot that. You were from Tennessee.
Man. Chattanooga, Tennessee. But I lived in Knoxville, went to school in Nashville. So yeah, the whole East Tennessee.
So coming to Atlanta, what is this environment been like for you? Especially, coming from the outside and everything, like most of us do.
Well, I actually moved here with my parents back in high school. And I came back down here a few years back to finish college at Georgia State. So I kind of already had the Atlanta vibe, but back then I didn't know about the whole spoken word community. It wasn't until like after I graduated and started going out a bit where I learned about it and always knew it was something I could do, but I never knew people were doing it. One of the things that made it take it really seriously, I was in my parents' house and I found a poetry book that I turned in school, like in like 7th grade. I think it was tied with like shoelaces and the three things to bind it. And I'm like, okay, I've been doing this, so let me pursue it and see where I can take it.
I remember you back in the day performing for so many different years now.
Yeah, I was terrible.
Oh goodness, I wasn't even gonna say. I wasn't gonna say that, man. All right. Well, I guess we are our own worst critics, as they say.
But we gotta start somewhere.
Own worst critics. All right. What is it like to perform here? Like just the vibe, the energy, the whatever. Especially if you've been performing in other areas. What is it like performing here for Atlanta? What makes this a special place?
Man, this is special for me because I've been performing here for a few years now, and it's where I started. So Atlanta molded me. And the fact that the spoken word community here is so vast and so diverse. You could walk into an open mic where it's your first time and you might have to go after a Red Storm. You might have to go after a Georgia Me, a B-Rock, a Sincere, a Jay Frizz.
Oh goodness.
A Justin Patton now. So that kind of, that refines you and makes you better. So when I go to other places now, I feel like I'm well equipped with whatever tier of talent they got there. I feel like I'm right up there with it because I'm constantly surrounded by the best. And while you're here, you might not realize that. While you're inside of it, it's just like another day at a showcase or open mic, but you're really getting refined by some of the best spoken word artists.
I understand the influence of the talent that's around and everything, but did you have like some kind of change in the mentality that really helped you get to this point? Like you just started thinking differently about yourself, or like what was it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a bunch of different things that contribute to me to be on this journey of finding myself more, especially through the art form. But Atlanta gave me a thing like it's okay to be yourself.
Oh, word.
And I have a piece in a poem where everybody's striving every day just to get out of their own way. Like that's. Anything goes down here. It's Wild Wild West as far as like styles and who you want to be. It's all accepted, and that's the most beautiful thing, because if we can accept anybody, then that's a huge step towards humanity. But even bringing it down from that, it allowed me to be myself just because that's what's the culture down here. And sometimes you don't even realize it. You might take it for granted until you go somewhere else where it's kind of more like stiff and they expect you to be a certain way, but that's not the case here.
And it's great you bring up the word culture. Like there's so many different pieces of talent that have come from so many different states, and we've all migrated to get to this one spot right here. And I think there's a reason for it. I definitely think that's meant to be. So this culture that we all contribute into, first off, what does the phrase "for the culture" mean to you?
For the culture,
right?
To me means having a bigger purpose than yourself. Doing it for a reason, for everybody. The culture might be everybody who influenced you. In this case, it might be the Atlanta culture, the Atlanta poetry culture, but whatever reason you can give yourself to keep going, to strive for more, then that's what For the Culture is. Bigger than yourself.
Definitely. And I know there's a lot that you do for other people. There's so many places that you're always popping up, you know what I'm saying? You're performing, you're hosting your own shows and everything. Absolutely. Even when you were talking about, you'll get on stage, I just lost my job, but I'm here to perform though. So it's like, what drives you to do it, I guess? What's in your heart and mind, whatever that like really drives you to stay in this culture and do for this culture?
I wish I could give you a deeper answer than what I'd like to give you, but it's really just all that I'm good at. I don't want to say it's all that I'm good at, but it's what I'm the best at. Like coming in here and being on stage and sharing my art, sharing my point of view, having a connection with people. It's what I'm best at. I feel like it's my gift. I feel like I want to take it to another level and help other people take it to another level, just because, I mean, when it comes to just like writing and poetry and I guess anybody's art form in particular, it's about, I mean, this show is called Soul Therapy. It's really about not only getting it out, the art form for yourself and whatever you're feeling, but sharing it so that somebody else can connect with it. And that creates a whole different type of connection that transcends any age, gender, whatever classes we talk about, because the connection is so strong.
So man, you be giving all the perfect setups. Speaking of connections, speaking of the connection, so how do you have like a certain strategy, or is it just natural? Like, how do you connect with the audience? How do you make sure you're grabbing everyone's attention?
How do I make sure I'm doing it? I make sure I'm doing that by having a goal as far as going on stage, knowing what I'm gonna say, knowing that these people are giving me their attention. What am I gonna say with it? They're giving me their ear. What am I gonna do with it? I gotta tell them something. I gotta come from somewhere that's honest and real, and so that we can connect. And so I feel like I'm not sure if there's a necessarily tactic that I have, but it's really just being my most authentic self and that shining through. And hopefully people be like, oh, he's being real. It's okay for me to be real. It's okay for me to be myself.
So, final thought on this then. It's like, I like to look at the Atlanta poetry scene as like this giant painting, right? And no matter how many of us there are, there's a space for each one of us. We all have our own thing that we've carved out onto it.
Absolutely.
So, what do you feel as though is the stamp that you have put on? What's the piece of the painting that Justin Patton specifically adds to it?
I'm not sure if, I mean, when I answer that question, it's just gonna be coming from my perspective, but I honestly think that's a question that I would like to ask people that come to my shows, people that come like more than once. I would like to hear their answer on that, but I'll say just a lightheartedness and just an inviting atmosphere. I
remember the last show of yours that I came to, you came in the back of the convertible with no shirt on, and it's just like, who does that? So it's like, where does that freedom come from, man? Where does that mentality of just whatever, this is what I'm gonna do, doesn't matter what people think, doesn't matter what people say or how they look at me, ain't no way in the world I'm doing that. So how do you pull off something like that?
My truth is come from not doing that to being somebody afraid to voice their opinion because maybe it doesn't matter, or maybe they'll think I'm whatever. For being so confined, I don't know myself, so let me be cool. Let me be the cool guy. Not do too much, not do too little, just be in the middle, just be cool. It comes from that. So wanting to just live with more passion and just be freer in whatever we doing. Yeah, let's pull up over Gil Scott here on the back of the convertible with my shirt off for the show. I don't even have muscles. Let me do that.
My goodness.
So it comes from not doing that, honestly.